Hi, this is Makini.
And this is Divya.
And this month for Impactful Inc., we are talking about the God of Small Things. So at first, when we first decided that we were going to read this book this month, I was really happy because it was a good book. And then quickly, once I realized that we couldn't go back on that, I was really depressed because this is a tragic novel to read. And I didn't start it for like 2 weeks. It was difficult.
The bulk of the book takes place in an Indian city called Ayamenin. And it's about twins, Rahul and Estha. And the point of the book isn't exactly what happens at the end because it's told in out of order, but it's about the caste system and how that and a lot of different other societal issues have been constructed to kind of make life depressing. So we start off the story with a funeral of a little girl that is a cousin of the two main characters, Rahul and Estha. And from there, Arundathi Roy, she takes us back and forth between what's happening now, where Rahul and Estha are adults, and what happened when they were a kid, which is the major arc of the story.
Which led up to Sophie Mol's. But what's interesting is you think, when you start the book, you think that this is going to be a book about Sophie Mol. And it's not at all. It's really about the God of Small Things, a.k.a. Velutha.
It's a really difficult book to make like a 10-minute video on, so we decided that we would focus on the relationships in the book because the book is about the rules of love, who you can love and how much. So
And how,
yes.
Baby Kochama and Father Mulligan. Who we hate. Not Father Mulligan. We don't really know Father Mulligan, but we hate Baby Kochama. She's a victim of the society and the culture as well, but it's...
I pity her the most. I'll
Yes.
say that much. I do pity her the most because she grew up and she fell in love with Father Mulligan, who was a Catholic priest, and she's from a Syrian Christian family. And in order to get this priest's attention, this Catholic priest's attention, she's converted to Catholicism and joined a nunnery. That's not the right word.
No, nunnery is fine.
Okay.
She
joined a convent, and at the convent she was really unhappy because she wasn't there because, she wanted to be closer to God, or she just wanted to be closer to Father Mulligan. And she realized it wasn't going to happen.
She didn't end up getting closer to Father Mulligan. She left the convent as a result, went home, but found out that she had a reputation, went to the University of Rochester to get a diploma in ornamental gardening. One step up from basket weaving, I suppose. And then, since then, she's just been bitter in the fact that she couldn't have Father Mulligan and never became, I guess, who she wanted to be. And then as a result, just lashes out at everybody else.
Who made up a lot of rules for herself. She did. She made up a lot of rules for herself, and she applied them. It was very black and white. So throughout the entire book, it was really frustrating to watch her kind of relish every character's downfall, and she worked to perpetuate that a little bit too.
And then that's interesting too, because normally you read books or you hear stories and bad things happen to the bad characters. Of course, in this book things are not so black and white, but I think that universally we can generally agree that Baby Kochama is not a nice character. Mm-hmm. But then there's no comeuppance for her.
Karma is so present in Indian society. The energy you put out is kind of what you receive back, whether it's in the next life or it's in this life, and that is not something I see that's happening in this book. You have a lot of victims of the social construct of casteism and, women getting married to only certain kinds of people, things like that, but you don't really have the revenge. You don't really have the satisfaction of knowing that these innocent people have anything good coming towards them.
Which I think is part of a larger commentary sort of on religion, because obviously religion is really important to the book as well, because they're Syrian Christian. It's very important to them. David Kochama converts to Catholicism to be with Father Mulligan. It's a big deal that Amu marries a Hindu
Bengali man. Yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, I feel that this book is trying to say that religion is pointless, because, I mean, karma doesn't exist in this book, really. The religion, which is supposed to be your guiding force in life, doesn't affect what you choose to do anyway. In any other story, this would be a Romeo and Juliet type of thing, but because there are so many other characters at play, it's a story really about India. And so I feel like Chaco and Margaret Kochama represent that more specifically, because Margaret Kochama is this British woman, this white British woman, and Chaco is Indian, obviously, and that was an important colonial relationship. The fact that because of the fact that they're, these British Indians, they are very reverent of the British in a way that that Amu definitely isn't, but that other people, I imagine, are not, and that manifests itself in Chaco's relationship with Margaret Kochama. Like, he says that he adores her because she doesn't adore him. And she doesn't try to take care of him, and that was very different from everything that he knew. And I feel like his relationship is not it's not just love necessarily. The way that he feels about her, I feel like he feels a sort of adoration, in a sense that is not romantic. It's more colonial. If that makes sense.
No, that's the feeling I got from their short relationship, because whatever they had wasn't enough, whatever problems they had, because Margaret does end up cheating on him, and that's why they get the divorce. But it was much more of a reverence for what she represents.
Amu is one of my favorite characters in the book, but she's also just so tragic. When we first meet Amu, she says that she's 27 years old, and for her, life has already been lived. She had picked the wrong man.
So Amu, who is the sister of Chaco, son and daughter of Papachi, the imperial entomologist, she goes to school, and then, her father says, too much schooling won't get you a good man, and she comes back home, and no proposals really come around. Her husband, Baba is the name for dad, since it's being told from Rahel and Estha's point of view. We only have, what they call their elders. So when Amu and Baba meet, she's trying to get out of something. She's trying to get out of IMM, where she grew up, and she just felt, I can identify. She felt suffocated there. She felt like she wanted a life of her own.
And anyone who's, lived in the suburbs knows exactly how that feels.
And living in the suburbs of India doesn't seem very exciting, especially for someone like Amu, who seems, she seems like very radiant and wanting to explore life.
And I think that's why I identify with Amu too, because I feel like had I been in her position, I probably would have made the exact same choices. I feel like we have very similar personalities as you. So she meets Baba at this wedding. They get married. They don't fall in love. They just get married. She gets pregnant, has a son, Rahil, and during this time, she discovers that her husband is an alcoholic.
A violent one.
A violent alcoholic. And which is a bit ironic, just because that was basically what she left. She walked right back into what she had tried to escape from. And she then leaves him because he tries to set up an indecent proposal type situation with his boss.
Yeah, I mean, they live on a tea estate, which he doesn't own. Baba doesn't own this tea. He's a manager, or he's someone that's not a worker, but he's got some little form of power, because who does own it is a Westerner, someone from Britain who owns this estate. And these two estates are really lonely, so it's not a good situation for Amu in the first place, because even though there's other estates surrounding, it's not like she has a support system. So when he's being an alcoholic, he was just throwing himself into it. And when he's about to be fired, the guy who owns the estate is like, well, why don't you go on vacation and send your wife over? And that's when Amu thankfully left him. She was like, that's not going to happen.
So Sophie Mull is a product of Chaco and Margaret Kochama's brief marriage. She is everything that Esther and Rahel are not. She is white, for starters. She's a little older. She's a little taller. Partly because she's older. And she's British, which they are not. And she's loved from the beginning from people that Esther and Rahel would like that same love from.
Yeah, especially after Esther and Rahel are told that, you can be loved a little bit less for the things that you say, you can, and, they both hear that from their mother. It's the day before Sophie Mull comes from Britain. And when she does come, they keep worrying that their mother's going to love her more than she's going to love Esther and Rahel. So I think Sophie Mull is kind of what they wish they could be. Is, I think, what happens to Esther. Esther, the day before they see Sophie Mull, they go to see The Sound of Music at the Abhilash Talkies, which is the movie theater that's outside of Ayman in Cochin. And Cochin is the city where, they're going to pick up Sophie Mull and Margaret Kochama. When they go to the talkies, they see The Sound of Music, and Esther, being the cutie that he is, really wanted to sing along with, how do you solve a problem, like Maria. And so everyone gets frustrated with him, and he steps outside. And when he steps outside and starts singing,
God, my stomach is turning.
The orange drink, lemon drink man, which is the guy selling the soda, asks him to come and gives him a free soda, but
in exchange
for... I can't even do this.
Okay, so the point is Esther is molested. Divya couldn't say it.
I can't say it. It's just... That is the worst scene in the book, because the reason it's so bad is because here's this little kid, he is given a free drink, and he's a bit scared, and the guy, in exchange for this free drink, is making him touch his penis. Like, it is the worst scene in the book, because there's such a sense of normalcy to what Esther is doing with drinking his lemon drink, the fizzy lemon drink, and with what the other man is making him do while he drinks his soda. So...
And I think the way that it's portrayed is very true, I think, to molestation, just because Esther, having done nothing wrong, feels that he has done something wrong, and he feels this overpowering sense of guilt. And what I've read from children who have been the victims of molestation as well, they feel that same thing. And that's what adults who do that prey on children in that way, because the children feel that they have done something wrong. Okay, so as a result of Esther's molestation, and as a result of them trying to hide from the orange drink, lemon drink man, Esther and Rahel formed this plan in which they go across the river and make their new home at the History House, which is Karusapu's house. I don't remember.
Yeah, I forgot the name, yeah. But it's the old house that no one lives at.
Yeah, which is constantly referred to as the Heart of Darkness, which we can go back to. Anyway, and they go across the river.
As they're crossing the river, Sophie Mull, who doesn't know how to swim,
drowns because it's in the middle of the night, because they thought that was the best time to go, because Emu caused them the millstones around her neck, and that she would have been free if they were never there.
Yeah.